Okay guys, so for those of you who are doing the packet for this week, you are going to be reviewing adding and subtracting fractions. So we did this earlier in the year, but I wanted to refresh your memory. So we're going to start out with this fraction that we see on top, 2/4. Well, the top number represents our numerator. And our numerator tells us how many pieces of our fraction are shaded or not shaded, depending on the question. And the bottom number represents our denominator. And our denominator tells us how many equal pieces are in our fraction in total. So we're going to practice adding and subtracting fractions with fraction bars. So let's look at the first one. We will be adding these fractions. So let's look at the first fraction bar. How many equal pieces are in this fraction bar? 4 equal pieces. And how many of those pieces are shaded? 1. So this first fraction bar represents 1/4. Plus, let's look at the second one. How many equal pieces? 4 again, because in 4th grade our denominator is not going to change. And how many pieces of this fraction bar are shaded? 2. So this fraction bar represents 2/4. So now I'm going to add these two fractions together. So when I add or subtract fractions, I never change the denominator. So I will not be adding 4 plus 4. I will, however, add the numerator. So I am adding 1 plus 2, which would give me what? 3. And what happens to our denominator? It stays the same. So our answer for this addition problem is 3/4. So now I can shade in my last fraction bar to represent my answer, 3/4. So this is an example of adding fractions. So now we're going to move on down to the bottom for a subtracting fraction problem. So let's look at the first fraction bar. What fraction is represented by this fraction bar? Well, how many equal pieces does it have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equal pieces. And how many of them are shaded? Good, 5. And I'm going to be subtracting what I see in this fraction bar over here. So what do you think those X's on those pieces mean? Good, that we're taking them away. So how many were taken away? 3, 6. Because there are still 6 equal pieces. So now I am going to subtract 5/6 minus 3/6. Now, are we changing our denominator? No, never, ever, ever in 4th grade are we going to change the denominator. The only thing I am changing is my numerator. So I am subtracting 5 minus 3. What is 5 minus 3? Good, 2. And if you notice, there are only 2 pieces left that are not X'd out. So now I'm going to fill out my fraction bar for my answer. So my answer was 2/6. So that means I have 2 pieces shaded for this fraction bar. So that is an example of both adding fractions and subtracting fractions, just to refresh your memory. Biggest thing, don't forget the denominator never ever changes. All right guys, you're ready to do